Good, happy Thursday morning, April 15, 2021. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Thursday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday morning, so let's begin. First up, we're going to take a look at your COVID-19 numbers in New Hampshire. Let's take a look at those right now. And here is a check of those COVID-19 numbers for all of you in New Hampshire. There are 89,983 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. There are 1,261 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. There are 118 current number of hospitalizations for COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And that is a look at your COVID-19 numbers for New Hampshire. Vaccine mix-up. Collects man with Moderna first, and then Pfizer vaccine for the second one. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Tractor has been in our family since 1955, when great-grandfather Pearlie and our grandfather George decided...
Gene, late this afternoon, DHHS released a statement to News 9 that says, in part, a mixed series is safe, as CDC guidance recommends mixing the series if the brand from the first dose is not available at the time of the second dose. While there have not been any clinical studies on whether a mixed series is as effective as a complete series, it will still provide enough protection that a third dose is not necessary or recommended.
He said, "Oh, you're ready for, a poke?" And I said, "Sure." And he poked me, and as soon as he poked me, he looked down at my card, and I think he realized he just gave me the Pfizer.
Tuesday morning, Craig Richards drove back to the old JCPenney in West Lebanon, a state fixed site location where he got his first shot back in March. He had his vaccine card with him, showing his first shot was Moderna.
I looked at him, I said, "You did not just give me the wrong shot." And he bolted. I don't know if I had a real angry face on.
Richard says a supervisor came over and told him,
"You're going to be fine. The good news is you're fully vaccinated." And I'm just like, this isn't happening.
Medical experts that we reached out to in New Hampshire declined to do an interview, citing a lack of guidance and data in this subject area. The CDC website states, COVID-19 vaccines are not interchangeable. The safety and efficacy of a mixed product series have not been evaluated. Both doses of the series should be completed with the same product. But the CDC states in the event of a mix-up, do not administer a third dose. Craig Richards says he feels fine right now, but he'd like more information.
With everything going on as far as the Johnson & Johnson being pulled, maybe, it's questionable. You go home and you're kind of like, you're uneasy about the whole thing. They screwed up. Something's wrong over there.
And the UK announced today it is launching a study on the effectiveness of mixing vaccines, and Pfizer and Moderna are among the brands included in the effort. Reporting live this evening, Amy Cavino, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Hospitalizations drop from 65 plus, increases for ages 30 and 50. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
To be a part of the team at Caesar Chimney Service, the only prerequisite is be just a little bit crazy. We can train you to do...
Like some other hospitals across the state, Wentworth Douglas in Dover has seen a jump in COVID cases recently.
We even went down to as low as one patient at one time about 2-3 weeks ago. Now we're up to 17.
COVID hospitalizations up at Elliott Hospital and Southern New Hampshire Medical Center, too. All three say a big difference between this uptick and earlier ones is the age of the patients.
We see a material decrease in the over 65 age population being hospitalized. That's who was prioritized for the vaccine.
And an increase in patients in the 30 to 50-year-old range, sick enough to be hospitalized.
There are patients that are coming in with the typical symptoms, respiratory distress, body aches, fevers. We have 5 patients in our ICU, only one, fortunately, on a ventilator. What we're starting to see is just these are household patients of people who are exposed in their homes. And what's notable is that they have not been vaccinated.
The importance of the vaccine underscored as the hospitals deal with an increase in other patients whose routine healthcare management stopped during the pandemic.
Both of our hospitals are full. It's not full from COVID. It's from people who have other illnesses seeking treatment, therapies, surgeries.
He says most staff have been vaccinated, so staffing isn't hit by quarantines and exposures as it was in earlier upticks. But he says they are very busy still, and after 13 months, they are also very tired. We're live in Portsmouth. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Four more Granite Staters die of COVID-19 as cases rise. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Tractor has been in our family since 1955, when great-grandfather Pearlie and our grandfather George decided to sell.
Now, here's a look at the coronavirus numbers in New Hampshire. There are 412 new cases of COVID-19. Active cases growing today to over 3,500. There are 4 new deaths, including one from December that was just confirmed to be related to COVID-19. And current hospitalizations have dropped slightly to 118.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Moderna president says world will likely be dealing with COVID-19 for years. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
The past year has tested the toughness of every last one of us. We had to retract our...
What we expect to have happen over the coming 1 to 2 years is a series of variant-driven epidemics.
Moderna's president is predicting we will be dealing with COVID and its variants for the foreseeable future.
Until we're able to protect the majority of humans and achieve something akin to herd immunity.
The pharmaceutical giant believes that in perhaps 2 years, COVID will be more seasonal and endemic, much like other respiratory viruses. But it's also going to require vaccine manufacturers to have the ability to hit a moving target.
Speed and adaptability are going to be critical during this phase because the virus is going to be evolving, and our vaccines and our countermeasures need to evolve just as fast.
While vaccines today are dealing with the main strain of COVID, Moderna's president believes that vaccines of the future will have to be multivalent vaccines.
That means not just against one strain of the virus, but against many strains of the virus, to make sure that we're fighting the full waterfront, protecting all the places that the virus has tried to evolve.
Moderna is also planning to test the effectiveness of its vaccine on young people, enrolling participants as young as 6 months old. Reporting live in Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Homeless encampment of 32 people in Manchester to be cleared today. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Summit Packaging Systems is hiring for all shifts. Summit knows stability, security, and growth are extremely valuable. You'll develop skills to succeed and earn steady income and benefits. Apply online at summitpackagingsystems.com/careers today.
This area is comprised of both Firestone and railroad property. The fire chief says it's one of the encampments that was supported through the pandemic.
The railroad police told me that they were starting to get some complaints from the general public, from some of the condos down there, so they went down, they investigated, and this is private property, so it's just a trespass issue. We're just helping out.
Firestone Corporate is also involved, and they've asked for the assistance of the Manchester Police Department to help clear the area.
The Firestone folks knew that it was there, and, they waited long enough where now we have, a fair amount of people down there. We probably have 30, 32 people down there.
For the past several weeks, outreach workers with families in transition, healthcare for the homeless, and Manchester Mental Health have been connecting with each person to figure out next steps.
We're going to do our best to try to connect the folks that are down there.
On Thursday, the fire chief says the camp will be completely cleared. Members of the police and fire department will be on hand to assist if needed.
When you let people know, they'll move for the most part on their own. I don't think we need a big show of force or anything. This is just letting people know that this is private property, and they understand they got to move.
The chief says if homeless individuals were to come back to this property, Firestone will alert the police. Reporting in Manchester, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Detectives reveal more about the murder of Fast Frank's owner. Let's take a listen to that video from WPBF 25 News in Florida.
Felicia, two detectives who worked on the investigation into the murder of a Fort Pierce motorcycle store owner tell me they now know more about why the victim may have been targeted.
It is believed to be a personal motive based on relationships that the victim had at that time.
Richard Benson, the owner of Fast Frank's in Fort Pierce, was found dead inside his store after the fire department had responded to a call regarding smoke on February 17th.
After a little bit of investigating on scene, we realized that the victim had succumbed to injuries from multiple gunshot wounds and being lit on fire.
Detectives tell us it was the surveillance video from inside the store and help from the public that really started the investigation.
It was a very, very small identification that a member of the public noticed, which kind of helped us down to the right path.
The Fort Pierce detectives say they also had assistance from several different departments and counties.
This is a very widespread investigation, and within about 48 hours, we were able to identify our suspect, and Indian River was able to apprehend him and take him into custody.
This is the suspect, 61-year-old Otto Linke of Sebastian, who was charged with first-degree murder and arson. Detectives believe Linke had been in a previous romantic relationship with someone Benson may have been seeing.
The people out there, they came forward and gave us some vital information, which we were able to use that information to be able to get the result that we got.
Court documents show Linke is currently being held without bond at the St. Lucie County Jail and is expected back in court on May 25th. Reporting live, Anna Espinosa, WPBF 25 News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.